Chapter 13, Romantic Enlightenment, the illusion we chase. For most of my life, I thought I knew what I wanted in a woman. The right body, the right curves, the kind of look that turns heads when she walks into a room. Society fed me this image, and I didn't question it. I consumed what was put in front of me: social media, movies, music videos, even the women I saw in person. I chased after beauty as if it was the ultimate prize, believing that if I just had that woman, I'd feel fulfilled. But there was a problem. No matter how many beautiful women I was around, no matter how many times I got what I thought I wanted, there was always a lingering feeling of emptiness. I'd tell myself, maybe I just haven't found the right one yet. But the more I searched, the more I realized I wasn't looking for a woman. I was chasing an illusion. This is what society doesn't tell men. We're conditioned to chase, to want, to desire, but never to question. And when we do, when we take a step back and ask ourselves why we're never satisfied, we start to see the deeper issue. It was never about them. It was about us, the cost of the chase. When you spend years looking at women through a lustful lens, you don't even realize how much it warps your mind. The more I consumed, the more I became desensitized. What used to excite me became normal. What used to be enough started feeling like not enough. My expectations were no longer based on reality. They were shaped by airbrushed, surgically enhanced, and algorithmically curated images. It wasn't until I unplugged, really stepped back, that I realized the damage it had done. I found it harder to connect with a woman on a deeper level because my mind had been conditioned to prioritize the physical. I struggled to appreciate natural beauty because my standard had been set by something unnatural. Even with a woman I truly cared for, there was this inner war, a part of me resisting connection because I had trained myself to keep looking for better. And then there was the waste of time, chasing women at the gym, on social media, in the club, on dating apps. It was like a never-ending cycle. Even men in relationships aren't exempt from this trap. You can have a great woman by your side and still feel unsatisfied because your mind has been programmed to want more, want different, want new. But when I stepped away from that cycle, something changed. My focus shifted, and suddenly, I wasn't wasting hours scrolling, chasing, or wondering if I could have better. I had time to build, time to create, time to develop into the man I was actually meant to be. How lust pulls you away from the present moment. One of the most dangerous aspects of lust is that it removes you from now. It hijacks your focus, pulling you out of your own reality and into a state of wanting rather than being. Think about how it works. You could be sitting next to your girlfriend, someone who genuinely cares for you. But the moment a lustful thought enters your mind, maybe triggered by something you saw earlier on social media or someone who passed by on the street, your attention shifts. Suddenly, you're no longer present with her. You're in your head, imagining, comparing, wanting. That moment, the one you could be enjoying, engaging, and growing in, is stolen by a thought that doesn't serve you. Lust makes you feel like you're always missing something, even when you have everything you need in front of you. It creates a mindset where more always seems better, where the next woman, the next image, the next fantasy appears more exciting than what's real. And that illusion makes contentment impossible. This is why breaking free from lust is not just about self-control, it's about reclaiming your presence. A man who can control his thoughts and desires isn't just resisting temptation, he's actively choosing to live in the moment rather than being pulled by fleeting fantasies. The damage of casual sex and constant bonding. Sex is often treated as just a physical act, but the more I've reflected, the more I see that it's something far deeper. It's a bond, one that ties two people together in ways they may not even realize. And when that bond is broken repeatedly, it leaves behind something most people never talk about: fragmentation. When you have sex, your body, mind, and spirit connect with another person. You merge with them, not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. And when you move from one person to the next, breaking that connection over and over, you start losing pieces of yourself. You start carrying memories, emotions, and even personality shifts from past encounters. For women, this often manifests in emotional distress, trust issues, and the struggle to feel secure in a relationship. For men, it's different. We don't always feel it immediately, but over time, we become disconnected from true intimacy. We start seeing sex as a conquest rather than a connection. We struggle to appreciate depth because we've trained ourselves to only value the surface. This is why casual sex, no matter how good it feels in the moment, ultimately leaves people empty. The body gets pleasure, but the soul gets lost. What real connection looks like. Breaking free from illusions doesn't make life dull, it makes it richer. When you're no longer chasing superficial stimulation, you start to find excitement in deeper things. Here's what that shift looks like in real life. Having a conversation that moves you, the moment when you and a woman share a thought, a fear, or a dream, and you feel something real between you. The kind of talk that stays with you, where you remember how she thinks, not just how she looks. Experiencing presence together, sitting in a room with a woman and not feeling the need to fill the silence. Just being, no distractions, no need to impress. Just comfort in knowing each other. Seeing her in a vulnerable moment, when she's raw, unfiltered, and unguarded. When she's crying over something meaningful, or sharing something painful from her past, and you realize that this is intimacy, seeing someone's soul, supporting each other's growth. When a woman challenges you, not by criticizing, but by inspiring. When she makes you want to be better, not just for her, but for yourself. When you do the same for her, encouraging her, pushing her toward her goals, feeling attraction that goes beyond the body, when you're drawn to her energy, her spirit, the way she carries herself. When you realize you want her not just because of how she looks, but because of who she is. This is the kind of connection that lasts. This is what makes a relationship feel alive, long after the initial attraction fades. The benefits of presence in a relationship. Once you stop letting lust pull you in different directions, something powerful happens. You become fully present in your relationship. You stop mentally wandering. You start seeing your partner again, appreciating her in ways you may have overlooked before. A present man is an engaged man. He listens more. He notices the small things. He feels more connected. And in turn, the woman in his life feels that shift. Women are highly intuitive. They know when a man's mind is elsewhere. When you remove the distractions of lust and stay focused on her, she feels more valued, more seen, more desired. This doesn't mean you won't notice other women. You're human. But there's a difference between noticing and dwelling. A disciplined man acknowledges beauty but stays present with the woman he's committed to, and that presence creates a level of trust, depth, and emotional intimacy that surface-level attraction never will. How breaking free from lust leads to self-discovery. The unexpected outcome of breaking free from illusions is that you don't just connect with women differently, you connect with yourself differently. When you're no longer chasing validation from external sources, you begin to see yourself clearly. You gain peace. Instead of feeling like you're constantly in a race to get more, you feel whole. You realize you never needed outside approval to feel valuable. You develop real confidence, not the kind that comes from how many women you can get, but the kind that comes from knowing who you are. A man who isn't ruled by lust stands out. He carries himself differently. You sharpen your purpose. When your mind isn't preoccupied with chasing women, you have time to build something real, a vision, a career, a legacy. You become emotionally present. You start to actually feel again, instead of just reacting to whatever stimulus is in front of you. You have deeper friendships, stronger bonds, and a better sense of what you want in life. A man who has clarity in himself chooses his relationships wisely. He doesn't settle, but he also doesn't chase illusions. He moves with intention. Social media and the trap of algorithmic lust. One of the biggest tools feeding lust today is social media. Algorithms are designed to keep you engaged, and if you so much as glance at a provocative image, your entire feed starts shifting toward more of it. Here's how it works. You see an attractive woman in a revealing outfit on your feed. Maybe it's a random post, a suggested reel, or something a friend liked. You hesitate for just a second, maybe even click on it. The algorithm registers your interest. Now, your explore page, your recommendations, your ads, all of them start tailoring themselves to show you more of the same. Before you know it, social media has become a lust trap, subtly training your brain to crave more stimulation. And that's the real danger. It's conditioning. The more you engage, the more your brain rewires itself to seek that kind of content. You become addicted to the cycle, constantly needing a new visual fix. It starts with Instagram, but it doesn't end there. It carries into your thoughts, your real-life interactions, even how you perceive your partner. The solution? Break the cycle. Stop engaging with the content completely. No clicks, no likes, no lingering. Start engaging with content that aligns with your goals. If you intentionally follow accounts focused on growth, mindset, and purpose, the algorithm will shift in your favor. Use social media as a tool, not a distraction. If it's leading you into lust, discipline yourself to limit your usage or take intentional breaks. If you let social media dictate what you see, it will dictate what you desire. But if you take control, you'll notice how quickly your mind begins to reset. Practical steps to break free from lustful distractions. Breaking free from the cycle of lust isn't just about willpower, it's about changing what you feed your mind. Here are some practical ways to regain control. 1. Cleanse your environment. If your social media is filled with content that keeps triggering lustful thoughts, it's time to reset your algorithm. Unfollow pages that keep you trapped in comparison and temptation. Replace them with content that aligns with your growth. 2. Be intentional about where your attention goes. Every time you entertain a lustful thought, you're reinforcing a habit. Instead of feeding those impulses, redirect your focus. Read something that challenges your mind, work on a skill, engage in deep conversation. 3. Embrace presence. As a discipline, train yourself to be where you are. When you're with someone, listen. When you're working, focus. When you're alone, sit in stillness without seeking external distractions. 4. Deepen your connection with God. Lust thrives in disconnection. The more aligned you are spiritually, the more self-control you develop. Prayer, meditation, and seeking wisdom in God's Word help shift your desires from temporary pleasures to eternal fulfillment. 5. Recognize that true fulfillment comes from being in this moment, not chasing after immediate gratification and fleeting things. Lust tricks you into believing that fulfillment is always out there somewhere, but real satisfaction comes from within. A man who knows his why doesn't need constant stimulation by what's temporary. He's fulfilled by living in this moment with clarity and purpose, the path to presence, purpose, and spiritual connection. When a man lets go of illusions, he doesn't just gain clarity in relationships, he becomes more present in life. He stops thinking about what he's missing and starts appreciating what's right in front of him. His mind isn't consumed by lust, comparison, or dissatisfaction. He is here, fully engaged. This newfound presence also deepens his connection with God. Instead of seeking validation or pleasure in fleeting experiences, he finds fulfillment in something greater than himself. He starts to see women, relationships, and even himself through God's eyes, not as objects or achievements, but as souls with purpose. And perhaps most importantly, he reconnects with himself. Without the distractions of chasing women, lust, or validation, he begins to explore who he really is. He starts to identify his true desires, his calling, and his purpose. He begins to move with intention rather than impulse. When a man reaches this level of clarity, he becomes dangerous in the best way possible. He's no longer swayed by trends, temptations, or fleeting pleasures. He stands firm, he builds, and he attracts relationships that add to his life rather than drain it. The path forward. So what's the takeaway? If you're a man reading this, I challenge you to step back and evaluate what's been shaping your desires. Ask yourself, am I truly choosing what I want or what I've been conditioned to want? Do I value connection or am I just chasing stimulation? Am I willing to break free from illusions so I can actually experience real love? Am I present with myself, God, and the people in my life? And if you're a woman, I encourage you to recognize that you are enough. You don't have to change yourself to fit into a fabricated standard. The right man won't be looking for an illusion, he'll be looking for you. This journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because when you break free from the illusions, that's when you finally find something real.